By Senior Corporate Affairs Director at the Durban University of Technology, Alan Khan. Alan, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. It's a bit confusing. So we saw a large group of people there outside your campuses in Durban, the three campuses that my colleague Tuba Vilane was alluding to. We saw police having to intervene and disperse that crowd. We now know the police are telling us 12 people have been arrested. What led to this situation playing itself out today?
Felicity, good afternoon, and thanks for having me on today. So this entire thing unfolded early hours of yesterday morning when a large group of people had assembled on Steve Biko Road, which is right outside the Steve Biko campus in Durban. And this after they had allegedly reacted to fake social media posts that were circulating over the Easter weekend that had apparently invited people who were walk-ins to register at DUT. Now, the university had never invited walk-ins to come and register. The university was well aware that due to some of the challenges faced by students on online registration, with things like access to the internet, or some of the first-time entering students could not register online, they contacted their department and faculty. They then received a permit and were allowed access onto campus in keeping with COVID-19 protocols. And this process had worked well for a number of days, as we then had on-campus online support to assist those first-time entry students with their online registration. Arrived yesterday morning, and a number of people had assembled outside the university. And near what is termed the Gate 5 on Steve Biko campus, there is a construction site and a new student center and many other buildings as part of DUT's infrastructure development investment. That construction site, when the contractors arrived on site, that gate was then used as a point of entry, and a number of people flooded through the gate and invaded campus and then occupied the sports center. That was then uncontrollable. There was some damage to property, and some of the videos that were circulating on social media yesterday and the photographs speak for themselves. COVID-19 protocols were compromised in the sports center, and the university took the decision yesterday to suspend on-campus online registrations. We then tried our best to ask those who are occupying the sports center to please leave, and whilst a number of them did leave, there were students and people who had occupied the sports center overnight. This morning, the situation escalated with some type of protest action outside campus. We then received reports that these protesters were throwing stones and other objects. And that's when I think the South African Police Services and Public Order Policing decided to act.
So can you state categorically then, Alan Khan, for the avoidance of any doubt, does DUT, beyond what you are doing to assist those people who have been offered a spot to study at DUT in 2021, assisting them with online registration on campus, does DUT have any spaces for people to actually still go through the application process and secure a spot in time for the 2021 academic year?
As we've advertised, and it's on our website, some programs in some faculties have spaces. We have made it clear that if people are interested, they need to contact those departments. We've put an email address and a telephone number for people to contact those departments directly to then see if they qualify for entry and then to make further arrangements. At no stage did the university invite anyone to come in as walk-ins because we are doing online registration like many other universities around the country due to COVID-19 protocols. So the on-campus support was to assist those who had firm offers to study at DUT for 2021. And these were mainly first-time entering students who did not have access to the internet to complete their online registration at their places of residence.
Could it be, Alan Khan, that the systems you've set in place for those, as you say, some programs in some faculties still have some spaces for people to apply, and you've supplied the email and telephone numbers for people to make arrangements with those faculties? Could it be that those systems are not responsive enough and perhaps frustrating, and people then coming to the conclusion that perhaps it's better to just show up in person?
Well, you know, I can't make any assumptions to Lasizwe, but I know for some of the programs that we checked yesterday, for example, in our Faculty of Applied Sciences, the Executive Dean, Professor Suren Singh, reported that in one of those programs he received over 2,000 emails from interested applicants who want to find out if they can secure their places. So, you know, it seems to be working. The fact that there were these fake social media posts certainly exacerbated the situation. And sadly, this is an indictment on the fact that there are so many young people with a thirst for knowledge who want to secure places in higher education. And for whatever reason, there seem to be sinister forces at play who are, you know, creating these types of challenges. And the university is then faced with immense problems like we encountered yesterday. And we're still in a pandemic. It's a national state of disaster. And what happened yesterday compromised the health and safety, not just of those who had invaded campus, but of our staff who are manning the on-campus support stations for online registration.
And lastly, Alan, when you say you've extended the registration process and also for the avoidance of any doubt, this is for those people who've been made a firm offer to study at DUT, who need assistance because of technological challenges to be able to register online. You're saying you've extended that deadline. What's the impact in terms of your academic program?
Well, Chilisisa, we've had more than one extension because we understand that some people have faced challenges. So that has been extended for online registration. Apart from access to technology, there have also been some funding concerns raised by many prospective students. So we've had to take that into account. And they have received feedback from their funding requests, and that may have delayed them. So we've taken that into account as well. In terms of the academic program, as you know, we have online lectures on the go. So the academic program has started for those returning students. And in terms of first-time entering students, the university will make further announcements. What I can tell you, which is just hot off the press, is that we have decided to close all 5 Durban campuses of the Durban University of Technology, and that's following the violent protests and the campus invasion that happened yesterday and overnight. So all 5 campuses of the Durban University of Technology in Durban will be closed immediately and until further notice. But all online activities of the university will continue as previously announced.
What do you expect will be the impact of this decision you just told me about, the immediate closure of all 5 campuses of DUT in Durban?
Well, there hasn't been any physical lectures taking place for returning students because that has been taking place online. We've had online campus support, we've had administration and support services, management, library services, many other functions of the university has been taking place. The challenge now, though, is that all of those functions will cease, and that's primarily due to the compromised position that the university has felt itself dragged into following yesterday's invasion and then this morning's violence and protest action out on the streets.
All right, thank you so much for your time there. Alan Khan, who is Senior Corporate Affairs Director at the Durban University of Technology. You heard it there from Alan. News just in that the university has taken the decision to close all 5 of its campuses in Durban. So all 5 campuses of DUT in Durban are to be closed immediately, and he says until further notice. This in reaction to the events that have been taking place since yesterday at that particular campus that culminated in police arresting a number of people outside the campus, outside the campuses in Durban today. So we'll continue to track that story. But as of now, that's the latest. All 5 campuses in Durban of DUT are to be closed immediately. But lectures for returning students, Alan Khan telling us there that those will continue, and the deadline for registration for those students who still need to do online registration, those who have been offered spaces, that will continue. There's been an extension of that further at DUT.